Howdy, it's Andy Rashid here from Eyefood Photography. I want to talk today about variations of learning styles. So there are people that I've met who have fixated on one particular area and become virtuoso in that field. They've dedicated their entire life to a particular skill set and then taken that to its logical conclusion of having an immense fluency, incredible understanding and eloquence within that particular area. And for me, I love the idea of having the skill sets, but the idea of forfeiting the potential of having a very broad and general overview of things. For me, there's something more exciting in the broadness over the virtuosity, I guess. And so I wanted to talk today specifically to those people who learn on a very broad front, because what can happen in your own observation of your life and in other people's observation of your life is that you don't actually get anywhere near as quickly as people who are just dedicating themselves to one particular thing. And that kind of makes complete sense, that it's going to take a long time, and depending on how thin you stretch yourself, it might take a really long time. So I've got things like areas that I've been dabbling with for many years, and I've looked at this and put it into a little diagram, which I'll share with you now. So what we've got is a whole stack of cars. The cars are blue. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why they're cars. I'm not sure why they're on orange, but that's how I saw it in my head. So what we've got this group of blue cars. They all start below the start line. Then we've got a line for competency, and then we've got a line for fluency. And my aim is to try and get as many cars as I can. Each car represents a different aspect of my learning, and my aim is to get as many of those cars off the line as possible. So I dabble in lots of different musical instruments. My piano accordion, I've probably spent maybe 8 hours, I reckon, playing piano accordion in my life. So that car has just fractionally off the line. And that serves me because I've dabbled in that thing. I'm enjoying it. It has occasional use for my entertainment, but that's about it. But my photography car is way up over the fluency line because of the 50,000 plus hours that I've spent doing that in the last 30 years. I've got different cars in different positions based on a number of things, based on my broader interest or my addiction towards that thing. And it's not about how other people perceive what I'm doing. It's about my engagement in these things. So if you are virtuoso, then you would hope that you are able to use that skill set in a practical application because you've devoted so much of your life to it. And if you're just broadly interested in learning like I am, then I'm trying to develop as many various skill sets as I can. So I've got lots of interest in making and designing and creating. They're probably the focal points of my entire life. I've built a life around the idea that I can make. And so having some very basic skill set in metalwork, classic example of this where I picked up a skill set that I didn't know was going to have an application. So my dad used to have a crash repair business, and when I was 17, I went and I learned how to basically shape panels. I learned the very fundamentals in panel beating. And that skill set has become something that has been useful in jewellery making, sculpture, instrument making, a number of different ways that I've been able to apply these basic skills of shaping form. And I had no idea that skill set was going to have any sort of lasting impact on my life. But that little skill set I'm able to then build on in lots of other ways. And so what I'm trying to look at is how you can feel comfortable about the idea that you might not be progressing as quickly as other people, but you're marching up on a very broad front. So you've got lots of cars. I have lots and lots of cars, and they're all moving slowly, and that's really important. It takes, in my opinion, so as a portrait photographer, which I claim to be now, it's one of the things that I do. But when I was studying, we went to a portrait studio, and it was this incredibly stiff environment with the mottled background and, the awkward posing, and there was nothing there for me at all. Could have been a way that I could have made good money, but there was nothing there for me. And then after that excursion, I went back home and I was sitting in my kitchen, and I looked up on my kitchen wall, and there were all of these photographs of my friends, and they were these beautiful open natural portraits shot in natural light more often than not. And there was this real essence of who these people were, because I wasn't interfering with their performance. I wasn't requiring a performance of them. I was interacting and eliciting a response and then shooting that response. And I realised that I was a portrait photographer, but it didn't look the way I thought it was going to look. And so I'd invested probably close to 50, 100 hours in portrait photography before I was able to let go of my own personal opinions on what I thought that thing was and whether that was cool for me to engage in. So it takes, probably realistically, your first 100 hours in any skill set, you're going to be average at best. Probably you're going to be flailing about, and that's normal and that's okay. But beyond that point, there's going to be development and growth in your skill set. And prior to that point, there's this exponential learning, because you've come from nothing to building and then building and building and building on your skill set. And you'll never learn as much about something as you will in that first 100 hours, because you've come from nothing. So there's this potential to be judgmental about the fact that you're not very good at the beginning, and you can do that at your own detriment, or you can thoroughly yield and just go, I'm going to be crap at this, and that's okay, because I've been crap at things before and now I'm better at them. So the mindset for me is that I intend to be very average at many of the things that I do, and I'm going to be a bit better at some of those things, and I'm going to be quite good at some of those other things, and I'm going to be really good at a small handful of those things, and that's okay, because I'm able to pull from all of these different sources of information and skill, and when I apply all that I know now to a new skill set, I'm in a much stronger place to learn. It's one of the great pleasures in life to be challenged. If you want to get old really quickly, stop learning. If you want to stay young, do things that challenge you. There's nothing like being absolutely and impossibly hopeless at something and persevering. It's good for your soul. So on that note, expect that you're going to be rubbish at things for at least 100 hours. And beyond your 100 hours, expect that you're going to have some level of understanding, and that you're going to have some level of opinion. And then you can apply your understanding and your opinion, and you can develop that skill set into something that's uniquely yours. And when you apply what you know from other skill sets and you pull them all together, you can potentially make something new. And that's really cool. All right. Lovely chatting. Stay well. Talk to you soon.